Oh, never mind. He's done. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees and Reverend Greg Dorst, I welcome each of you to Unity of Pasadena today to celebrate the love, the life, and the legacy of an amazing man, Randy Lee Ross. A special welcome to Randy's immediate family, to his son and his daughters, and to all the grandchildren. He was so proud of each of you. Welcome also to all extended family members and friends, the Blue Morning Quintet, artistic collaborators, colleagues, fellow congregants, and our sister in spirit, Salam. For each of you, we would like to bestow our unity blessing. We love you. We bless you. We behold the Christ in you. Unity of Pasadena had Randy Ross as our brother in spirit for the past 8 years. And in that time, he contributed much to our spiritual family. One was through the music ministry, and one of his many passions, the saxophone. He was even a guest speaker one Sunday morning, and his talk was on spirituality and music. The ultimate love, Randy said. He was also part of our Sunday sound team. And when COVID hit and we became exclusively a virtual ministry, Randy would be a host to those gathering with us on Facebook Live. And we are streaming this celebration today. And we invite you who are here in the sanctuary, as well as online, to share in this service of celebration for Randy. which embodies many of his favorite unity aspects and the things we always did on Sunday. And so, to the degree that you feel comfortable, please join us in the prayers and congregational singing. And if you're seated beyond the carpeted area, there are printouts of the songs and prayers on your chair so that in case you can't see the screens up front. And also, we thank you in advance for keeping your masks on during the entire service, unless you are on a microphone or a saxophone. So now, let us begin this service with the ringing of the bowl, which is a call to shift our consciousness to a sacred space. After that, we invite you to sing with us, Holy, Holy, Holy.
I invite you to join in. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love that live in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, and I'm so honored to be here. So glad to meet so many of you. We're going to start with an opening prayer, and what I usually do is I ask people to join me in consciousness. And what I mean by that is that I'd like you to sink into that space where you recognize this wellspring of life within you, this wellspring of beauty, this wellspring of God itself. I'd like you to do that right now by sinking into this space where you recognize the presence of God right here, right now. And the presence of God is often felt as love. And we feel the love for one another here in this sacred space. In this space where we gather to honor Randy Lee Ross. In this space where we gather to look in the eyes of our loved ones and to still their grief, to understand their emotions, to feel their suffering and pain, and to bring love to the healing presence of this moment. And so what we do is we support each other, and we do that by leaning on Spirit, by leaning on God, by leaning on this singular source that brings us all together, that stills our mind, that heals each and every one of us. And so I'm so thankful for this moment, to be able to be here, to meet the people that were so beloved by Randy, to meet the people that love him back, to listen to the music that stirred his soul and the souls of so many others, to find the friendship that he found and the family ties that he had in the midst of this moment. And so it's with great thanksgiving for all of this that I release these words into the law of mine, knowing that they are already done. And with this I say, and so it is, and join me by saying amen. Amen. So we do a statement of faith. What we normally do is a statement of faith here, and I'd like you to join in with me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence, and I am one with that presence and that power. So we're going to have a stirring memorial service. We're going to honor the family and the life of Randy. We're going to see and feel and understand the legacy that he brings and brought to the world. And I'm so happy to be able to do this with you. Thank you. I'll be back up in a bit.
Randy was one of the most creative and spiritual people I know. Always had a beautiful smile on his face, and he was one heck of a saxophone player. My heart is saddened as I think about Salam and all the beautiful memories we all shared. So in honor of his memory, I would like to share with you Unity's daily word that was posted November 1st, the day after his passing. I hope these words will bring peace and comfort and a smile to all of you. Monday, November 1st, 2021, memories. I am grateful for my memories. Today, I remember the dear ones who have enriched my life through their unique contributions. I am grateful for memories of precious experiences and heart connections. Even though I have relatives and friends who have passed from earthly life, their love and presence still live in my heart. Connections I made through the years make life rich and fulfilling. Some memories may bring a tear. No matter which memories arise, I honor and nurture myself as I reflect upon them. I am grateful for my treasured memories and for all the people whose love and wisdom, support, and guidance have shaped me. Each one has helped me become who I am. And the biblical verse, I thank my God every time I remember you. Philippians 1:3.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. I would like to invite you to get comfortable and just sit back in your seat, wiggle around a bit, plant your feet firmly on the ground, and place your hands on your lap, face up or face down, whatever is comfortable for you. Now, if you will, let's take a deep cleansing breath together, and we'll begin with an inhale. So let's inhale and exhale. And let's take another cleansing breath all the way down to your torso. In and feel it expand and out. And because it feels so good, let's take another deep cleansing breath in and out. And let us say the Lord's Prayer together, slowly and deliberately. And let's begin. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. God's good is always at hand. It is omnipresent, everywhere present. It's on the cellular level as well as the molecular level, and even deeper than that in ways we may not understand. And God is as deep as your breath. Let's take one last cleansing breath together, in and out. And at this point, you may close your eyes if you like. Release any concerns or worries just for the moment. And drop your shoulders just a bit. Continue to breathe comfortably. Allow yourself to be aware of this beautiful sanctuary that sits on this beautiful spinning planet and the pull of gravity that is keeping you grounded. Here, you are safe, and in this safety, let's go into the silence as we bring our awareness to our heart space. Let's open up our hearts as we go into the silence for about 2 minutes. You are in harmony with God. And you may say quietly to yourself while you're in the silence, I am in harmony with God. Or you may say, I am in harmony. As we go into the silence for 2 minutes. You are in harmony with God. You are in harmony in God. The good of God is in all things, and we celebrate it in each and every one of us. We certainly celebrate the good of God in Randy Ross. His light continues to shine so brightly wherever he is, and that is comforting. May you find comfort and peace in your heart today and in the days to come. And now we will conclude with the beautiful prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine presence, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh, boy. Well, Yeah. Some things are hard. Some things are easy. Sometimes they're hard and easy at the same time. When the Ross family asked me to read my friend's obituary, I thought of course. Felt honored and privileged that they would ask me. Then came the hard part. The hard part of Randy's departure beginning to really sink in. I sat with him that Friday, and Carolyn and I talked, and she said her dad had passed that Sunday morning. Yeah. So Randy was a friend of mine and a colleague, and I admired him a great deal. You see, Randy was simply a full-grown man, standing straight. He had a sense of humor, but basically he was pretty much a no-nonsense kind of guy. He was one of those kind of brothers, you know. There are others who probably know him differently, but the sense that I got from him through our work was he was always focused, concentrated, disciplined, and pretty much always knew what he was doing, whether it was writing or playing music with Blue Morning, working on short stories, or penning his next play. We were both interested in the creative process. So there was a connection. At times, one, you get a good feeling. You get a feeling of kinship with another human being. That works. Randy was one of those brothers you could trust. That's how I got to know. Randy Lee Ross, Ph.D., was born on March 26, 1951, in Richmond, Virginia, to Georgiana Bassett Ross, Meredith Russell Ross. He was the beloved brother to Richard Ross, Jerry Ross, Dorothy Roback, and Mervyn Ross. As a young child, Randy moved with his family to Los Angeles, California, where he spent his formative years, attending Thomas Edison Junior High School and John C. Fremont High School. And during this time, he discovered many of the passions, including chess and playing the saxophone. Randy graduated from high school in 1968 and was later inducted into the school's Hall of Fame. In the summer of 1973, Randy took a very long bus ride from Los Angeles to attend the State University of New York at Stony Brook, thanks to a Rockefeller Foundation fellowship. There he earned a Master of Science in Urban and Policy Sciences. After graduating from Stony Brook, he accepted a position as the Associate Director of Planning and Evaluation for the National Urban League. Randy's lifelong commitment to education led him back to Los Angeles, where he and his then wife raised their family. 1987, he earned a doctorate in philosophy and economics from the global policy think tank, the Pardee Rand Graduate School in Santa Monica. He went on to serve as the associate director of the Los Angeles Unified School District, LAUSD, Independent Analysis Unit. In the early 1990s, he returned to Rand to work on the New American Schools, NASDC project. Subsequently, he served as vice president of the Los Angeles-Annenberg Metropolitan Project, LAAMP. His work in school reform spanned 20 years. 20 years. In 2005, he became LAUSD's first director of education policy. He authored the book, Government and the Private Sector. Who should do what? Now that sounds like Randy, don't it? Straight up. Who gonna do what, right? No question about it. This is that and this is that, and that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Many of his education essays and articles have been published in the Los Angeles Times, Education Week, the School Administrator, and the American School Board Journal. Randy spent part of his professional career in San Diego, California, where he was inducted into the Zeta Sigma Lambda chapter of Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. In addition to his prolific work in the public and the educational policy arena, Randy continued to pursue his many other passions, including writing, fiction, and playing his saxophone. He published a number of books, short stories, including When Are They Coming? And The Chocolate Man. If you haven't read The Chocolate Man, it's good. It's good. In collaboration with the International Black Writers and Artists of Los Angeles, he contributed to and co-edited River Crossings, Voices of the Diaspora, Griots Beneath the Babel Tree, Tales from Los Angeles. In addition, Randy wrote 3 plays: Birdland Blue, 92 Grove Street, and Essie's Paul. In 2019, a long-time dream was realized when the production of Birdland made its world premiere on the stage of the Roby Theater Company in Los Angeles to great acclaim. Randy served as musical director, among other roles, for the Roby Theater and recently composed the score for an upcoming play entitled A Heated Discussion, set to open in 2022. In the mid-2000s, Randy took his love for the saxophone to the next level by becoming one of the founding members of the Blue Morning Quintet. Yep. Along with band members Paul Batson, Greg Brodius, and Marion Newton, and Ricardo Oat, the quintet has been entertaining jazz lovers since 2007. Members of the band, thinking they may get a shot at playing the musicians in one of the jazz club scenes, had the opportunity to make a cameo appearance in the movie La La Land, an experience they will surely always remember. Randy is preceded in death by his parents, Meredith and Georgiana Ross, and his brother, Jerry and Richard Ross. He's survived by his brother Mervyn Francis Ross, sister Dorothy Herman Roback, children Leandrita Richard Ortega, Dennis Sally Cummings, Carolyn Brendan Riley, and Lee Madeline Anton Dowles. Grandchildren Jordan Ortega, Blair Ray Riley, Jaslyn Ortega, Elias Ortega, Christopher Dowles, Cambry Dowles, Anton A.J. Dowles, Ariella Cummings, Logan Riley, Adia Cummings, and Giannis Ortega. His beloved partner, Salam Marina, with whom he shared 9 wonderful years of travel, adventure, love, and laughter. The members of the Blue Morning Quintet and a host of family and friends who will miss his wit, kindness, laughter, and his jazzy swing. Rest in peace, brother man.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, it can't be undone. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us, let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
Well, at ease, band members. So glad to have you here on the stage. So glad to have family and friends. So glad to have the Unity family that is precious to me and was so precious to Randy. So I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, and it's good to see you guys. This is a sanctuary filled with more people than I have seen in this sanctuary. I understand it happened once before. I'm not sure what it was. But this is, for me, this is it. I love it. I love the view all the way to the back, filled with people. Yeah. So there are elements of this memorial today that have Sunday service overtones. And that was the intention, to have a little bit of the Sunday service that unfortunately Randy wasn't able to get to during the COVID time, and bring it to the rest of you, as well as bring some of the other aspects of Randy's life, music, family, friends, love. If you are a member of the family, I mean bloodline family of Randy, would you please stand? And many of you came from great distances, I know. I know, yes. Thank you so much for showing up. And Salam, would you please stand so that we can all see you up front too? And so I take it that the rest of you are wannabe musicians, or you're just here to see the show. Is it? I don't know. That's okay too. So I recognize that there's grief around this. There's surprise. There is some healing to be done, but there's also some celebrating. I think that can happen in this moment, and I'm kind of a celebrator. You know, I really like to celebrate. That's why I like music so much. That's why I'm a musician. That's why I like to tell stories, and stories generally have a celebratory effect. And so I'm here to kind of do a little bit of that because, you know, I think that was part of Randy's legacy, actually. I'm going to give you my take. I believe that he was a supreme storyteller, you know, a storyteller in so many different ways. And I believe that when Ben got up here and he started talking about him being a grown man and handling his responsibilities and knowing what went where and asking people to do their part, that was part of being a grown man. And he was telling the story of how to be a grown man. He was telling the story of how to step into situations that weren't always easy, how to bring life to it, how to bring the loving hand, the kind touch. And so he was telling a story through his life. I mean, I think that's really an awesome idea and something that you can see so easily in the way Randy handled himself. I have to tell you that I was honored to be asked to stand up here and talk about these kinds of things. And I want to tell you the depth of the honor. You see, I've never met Randy. I never met Randy. Randy watched me up here on this podium live streaming because as I came here, Randy was at home watching because of COVID. And so we never met personally. But I had a deep tie to Randy after having watched a service that he did. He was in charge of here. He was the speaker. He was the musician. He did it all. And that was about music and spirituality. And I listened to that. Salam sent it to me, and I listened to it, and I really appreciated it. It was well done. It was storytelling at its best. It was beauty. It was indicative of how he felt about religion and spirituality and how life really was all about understanding that religion and spirituality works hand in glove with everything that we see and do and how we act and perceive things. So I got that introduction. Thank you, Salam, for sending me that. But one evening, I was sitting alone and thinking to myself, I've got to know more than this. I have to know more. And so I actually said to myself and then out loud, Randy, what do you want me to say? What do I do? What do I say? How do I transmit what it is that you need to be transmitted? And, you know, there's this voice in the back of my head that said, subscribe, 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 you know, weird. But seriously, I knew he had a YouTube channel, his own YouTube channel. And so I went to it, I searched it, I found it, I typed in Randy Lee Ross, and it didn't come up right away, and then I realized he might have used a little, you know, a number system to get him in there, and I did some searching and found that Randy 1922 Ross had a YouTube channel. And by the way, I'm the 74th subscriber. Yeah? So you all need to go back home and subscribe so you can see some of this stuff, you know, because I got enamored with the beauty of what he was doing, how he was bringing the story of his family, how he was bringing the story of music to everybody who would take the time to watch and listen and get engaged. I was blown away. I got to tell you, the latest just had me almost in tears, and some of you might even know the name, The Road to New Kent, Aunt Pinky and the Mystery of the Hills. Who's seen that? Who's seen that? Aunt Pinky and the Mystery. You see, Aunt Pinky wrote him a letter. Aunt Pinky was his great aunt. She wrote him a letter, and it sent him back to New Kent, where he was conceived, but born in Richmond, Virginia. New Kent, Virginia. It's a very small town. And then there's Richmond, Virginia, where he was born. To do an interview with a couple of family members that knew Aunt Pinky because she had passed many, many years ago, and watched her live and understood her as a leader of the family. And Randy wanted to know more about it. He wanted to know more about the family. He wanted to tell the story of the family through them. And so if you watch that, you're going to be as blown away as me. But there were two principal interviewees. One, Robert Brooks. Robert Brooks is an uncle, great uncle, called him cousin of some sort. And Melvin Tyler. Melvin? No? I think Melvin had the same line. He might have been a cousin too, maybe a cousin removed from big family. That I know. But the exciting part about this was that what they did, what they expressed, was how the family moved through the various times that were challenging, particularly the Jim Crow era, and how all of the things that needed to be accomplished were being faced by those individuals and by the family. And these two, Bob and Melvin, were ex-military. And they told the story of how at the time it was a really smart idea to go into the military so that you would be more accepted out in the community, because you could rely upon being able to say, I'm a veteran. And that would bring people into the fold who might not otherwise be in the fold, you see, who might otherwise push them away and say, I'm sorry, but we don't hire people who look like you. Oh, but you're a veteran. They talked about how that was a very interesting way to have to live back then. And then they started getting into some of the things that I thought were absolutely fascinating, because, you see, Melvin was an artist. He never did it for a living, but he always thought, I'd like to. And then he thought, well, this is pretty good stuff, and people would ask him, would you sell that to me? And he thought, I don't want to sell art. You can't do it for a living if you don't want to sell it. So he said, I think I'll just paint them and give them away. I think I'm just going to paint these and give them away. And then he started talking to Randy and said, Randy, one of my favorite paintings, and it's one that I just really enjoy, and I did it in 1967, was a painting of John Coltrane. Because John Coltrane died in 1967. And so Randy hears this from Melvin and is just blown back. It's like, what? It's like, here I come all the way out here, and I talk to people that I've never spoken to before, and you're telling me about painting somebody that I began revering as one of the finest artists and greatest men of our generation. And all of a sudden, this whole thing is coming full circle. I did some research on some of the quotes of John Coltrane, and to me, it sounds just like Randy. I mean, I got to tell you. And two peas in a pod, right? So John Coltrane says things like this: my music is the spiritual expression of what I am, my faith, my knowledge, my being. When you begin to see the possibilities of music, you desire to do something really good for people, to help humanity free itself from its hang-ups. I want to speak to their souls. John Coltrane said that. And then the aspiration of, bringing the spirituality through music to heal and to bring love and to bring the kind of life that's worth living and reveling in is brought to us through another John Coltrane quote. I would like to bring people something like happiness, he says. I would like to discover a method so that if I want it to rain, it will start to rain right away. If one of my friends is ill, I'd like to play a certain song and he will be cured. When he'd be broke, I'd bring out a different song and immediately he'd receive all the money he needed. Like, music is a prayer. Like, music's a prayer. In this same interview, when they're talking about painting, and Bob, by the way, Bob was an officer in the military, and he became one of the first black men to be as an executive in RCA around electronic music. Exciting stuff. He explains what he was doing to bring a life forward, to live a story. So Melvin had talked about his art, Bob had talked about RCA, and it was time for Randy to talk. And Randy said, you know what? The things that you guys have said tell me that I need to tell you this what I know about music, because you've told me the beauty of art and the beauty of the contribution that you've made to society, Bob and Melvin. I'm going to tell you that there's something about music that is so stirring for me. It is so deep. It is so effective for me. You know, you might play the root chord, the root note might be a C minor. Let's just say that. The root might be a C minor. And so you kind of hang around with arm's length of that particular note. You know, you're playing jazz. Just hang around it a little bit, you know, until you get comfortable. And when you get comfortable, you can go wherever you want to go. And when you get really comfortable in that music, in that space, you start to tell a story. You tell a story with your instrument. You tell a story that you want to say, that's close to your heart and needs to be released and freed for everybody to hear, understand, and bring it their own voice. This is what he said. This is what he's saying on this video that is so beautiful. Brings Randy and his vision of how to be a storyteller to the forefront. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that he's a storyteller. I mean, he's a playwright. He's a musician. You know, he's a man that tells a story through his own being. But he even tells a deeper story, too, because, you know, he was born with asthma. He was born with asthma, and it was during a time when people were still suffering with tuberculosis and the after effect of tuberculosis. I mean, all those are breathing issues. All of those are breathing issues. And the story he tells through working through this, building his lung capacity by playing the saxophone, you know? Building his lung capacity by playing the saxophone, getting to that place where he can't breathe to where he can breathe. Breathing for so many people who couldn't. Breathing for the oppressed. Breathing for those people who were marginalized, placed in situations where they could not extricate themselves. Breathing for others. Oh my God, that's a story. So, I was sitting in my chair and I asked for help, and did I get it? Yeah. Boy, did I get it. You know, I got the depth of spirituality of his life in story. What he showed me, even though I never met him, was extraordinary. So I sort of expect next time I go on that YouTube channel to get like the notice that 150 new subscribers are on, man, because I'll tell you, this is the stuff. So I want to leave you with this because, you know, I'm a minister, and that's my hammer. You see, everything is a nail if you have a hammer, you know, and so spirituality is my hammer, you know, so everything's a nail. So everything looks like spirituality to me. I mean, everything Randy said, everything he did, how he lived his life, the kindness and beauty and love and understanding that he brought, not just through his own words, but to other people is extraordinary. So I have this hammer, and it's spirituality. And I am a firm believer that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's what we are. We're spiritual beings, and we're having a human experience right here. Here's something I can tell you about the human experience. I know that it's temporary. It's temporary for all of us. We know that. We know that as soon as we're old enough to understand what life is all about. The first passing of somebody that we loved or somebody that we knew, I mean, it may be a shock, but all of a sudden we start to realize everything is here and then it's not. The human experience is temporary, but the spiritual being in you is not. You see, it is not. It is not temporary. And so, what I understand and what I feel and what I know is that all this stuff that I've been saying about Randy, he's hearing it. You see? And I knew that from the get-go. That's why this was so important to me. Thank you. I mean, you have no idea what the experience has done for me. I mean, I want you to know that. The story that I'm telling up here right now is the story of what Randy has done in his life has done for me, having never met him. So this is it. I got a lot of new friends. And what I often say is the God in me recognizes the God in you and loves you. The presence of God is often felt as love. You are the face of God today. You are the presence of love. Thank you.
And now the grandchildren will come up and they will share a poem from the letters of the Chocolate Man.
Letters of the Chocolate Man in tribute to our grandfather, Dr. Randy Ross. The Chocolate Man, RLR, was VA born, a boy with a freckled red-hot appetite for life. Family Ross moved the toddler cross-country to LACA. Watts explodes into flame, chocolate teen with crowd keen on crime. Older brother yanks young would-be looter home to a family and a future. Free of reform school. Fremont High, Pathfinder found his way around books on a higher climb, chess, jazz, and girls so fine. College produced a chocolate man, hungry for letters, Alpha Phi Alpha, bachelor's, master's, PhD, with yet more letters to come.
NYC, Borough of Queens, National Urban League, Neighborhood House, San Diego, Rand Corp, back in LA. Family of his own, proud girl dads, girls as women, became MDs on their own, chocolate father's pride. LAUSD, Ross's boss, education consultant throwing righteous gut punches and culture wars to the system from within. IBWA, Creative Joins Creative Community, grades beneath the baobab, telling tales from Los Angeles of river crossings. BMQ, on a world stage, the doctor improvised straight ahead, operated at the Robbie on a dramatic stage, down on Grove Street next to Berlin Blue.
Blue morning on a Halloween morning, so blue we must not rhyme. No treat this trick on the road to New Kent, the silence we fear, so sadly mute. The quintet is now quartet, -1 chocolate man. There should be sax here. Jazz and joy, alto and soprano, to the max here. Brassy redbone, sax of phone. There should be sax here. There should be sax here. There should be sax here. There really should be sax here.
This is not on the program, but Christopher Ross is going to play one of Randy's favorite songs, Little Suede Shoes.
All right, we didn't practice, I'm sorry. So we just wanted to kind of share a little bit about our thoughts about our dad and lessons that he taught us. And there were so many. I actually found lots of letters that he actually used to write to me when I was small, and he shared lots of great advice over the years, but one thing that always stuck in my mind was to value my time. As I became a professional, I was complaining about some chore that was kind of tedious, and he said, well, you need to place a value on your time, and maybe you should just hire somebody to do that for you. So, good idea. But kind of as I've grown up a little bit more and been able to expand on that, I actually have combined that with the wisdom of Stephen Covey, who says, that to touch a human soul is really to walk on holy ground. And one of the most important things that we can ever do is spend time with people. And there's no dollar sign for that. So I just want to encourage you all, take the time, enjoy the people around you, because you never know when it might get cut short.
Good afternoon now, everyone. I'm Carolyn Riley. I'm Randy's middle daughter. And I just wanted to share a memory and kind of just talk about what my dad meant to me. So the thing that I remember most about my dad was that he was always there for all of us, for all of our major life events, kind of by any means necessary. And so the one memory that comes to mind, one year the three daughters had graduations all within a week of each other. And I thought, okay, this will be the test, right? And, who's going to claim victory here? Who's his favorite daughter? And once and for all, we were going to lay this to rest. So, and by the way, all three graduations were in different states. So in true Randy fashion, he got out his pen and paper and started jotting notes, and he started mapping out his itinerary. First stop was New Orleans to see me receive my bachelor's degree. Then it was off to Albuquerque to watch his oldest daughter become a doctor. And then finally, he made his way back to Phoenix to watch his youngest receive her associate's degree. So to him, it didn't matter who was getting what degree. He was equally proud of all of us, and he was going to make sure we knew that. In other words, we were all his favorite. And so, Daddy, I love you. I thank you for all of your quiet wisdom, your dependability, your unwavering love. I can't bring myself to say goodbye. So I'll just end the same way we always ended our conversations. I'll talk to you later.
So I'm his youngest daughter, Lee Madeline, and I'd like to just add to that story. Leandrita and I, our graduation was on the same day. So he made it to Albuquerque and then flew right into Phoenix the exact same day to attend both of our graduations. So I just wanted to add that piece to that. It's hard to follow that. So I just jotted down a couple of life lessons. So my dad, throughout my whole life, he had life lessons, and I don't even always know that he knew he was teaching a lesson. I think just his natural character of who he was just always taught something, and some things you don't even realize until maybe years later that those were lessons that he was teaching. One that we've had conversations, the siblings have had conversations about all the different sayings that he had. One that I remember growing up is he always, anytime I said, well, what's the meaning of this word, or what does that mean, or what is this about, he would always say, look it up. He never gave me the answer. And this was before OK Google existed, and so we had a whole library of encyclopedias and some big dictionaries. So I had to go look these words up and go look up these, different things that I wanted to know information about. And so just throughout my life, that just taught me that anything you want to know, you can find it. You just have to have that willingness and that grit to go find what the answer you're looking for. And so it's something that I use to today, I ended up in a career where I'm researching stuff all day, and so it's just interesting kind of how all that played out. And so I appreciate every single thing that my father has been in my life. I was like, I'm gonna hold it together. And so I just thank you. There's so much more that I wrote, but I know I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm trying to just So I just say thank you. I just thank you for everything that you have been to me. Some of our last conversations, well, I'll say this. I've seen him be so patient. As a family, we see each other go through life. We see each other through our hard times. I've seen his ups, I've seen his downs as his family. He was always so patient and so poised in everything that he did. And even within our last conversations, I commended him on his patience and what that was for me throughout my whole life. And where I feel like sometimes I lack patience, I'm still working on that. He encouraged me by saying, "You're getting there. I see it in you." And I just thank him for all those little tidbits that he placed into my life, because it sticks with me every day, and I just continue to grow as a person because of who my father was. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you.
That's why I need to go first. My name is Dennis. I'm Randy's oldest and favorite son. Father, dad, counselor, teacher, leader, artist, author, scholar. These nouns, while strong and carry notable social significance, seem trite and perhaps even inadequate to describe the complex character and wonder of a man that we've gathered to pay our respects here today. Randy, with a warm and open heart, embraced me as a son. I was introduced to Randy when I was just 2 years old. For me, he accepted the calling of fatherhood. He raised me and nurtured my development. Day in, day out, no sick days, no vacation days. I'm 4 years into my very own personal journey that is fatherhood. With 2 daughters, right there. 2 daughters of my very own. And as I'm full of reflection as I write this tribute, I'm filled with even greater admiration, love, and respect for my father, Randy Lee Ross. Conventional wisdom suggests experience is often a more enlightened teacher than the classroom. I'm compelled to agree. Randy's presence as my father was always steadfast. His inspiration for scholastic achievement, unwavering. Faithfully allocating time to help me understand homework assignments, prepare for quizzes and tests, and review college entrance exams or applications, He was vigorously teaching. He even taught me to play the game of chess. If you've spent any time at all with Randy, you'd be almost assured to come away from a conversation having learned something. Even as an adult, he was helping expand my vocabulary. During routine conversations, he'd introduce a word completely foreign to me. Make no mistake, he was speaking English. However, this newly introduced word to me in the English vernacular, would elicit pause and wonder. As hard as I tried to use the context and the surrounding words in the sentence he had just spoken, I just didn't quite have the full comprehension to know what he meant. As recent as my wedding in 2015, while holding the microphone, he shared with the crowded room how his son liked to dabble in haberdashery. The room suddenly erupted in laughter. Was I the only one that didn't know what haberdashery meant? So I looked it up. Or perhaps, when a year prior to Carolyn and I meeting our respective spouses, he inferred that a possible reason we might both still be single is because we were both quite fastidious. Not knowing what fastidious meant, I had to look it up. Some of you may be asking, why didn't I just ask what the word meant? It's a reasonable and fair question. Reflecting on earlier moments of our childhood years, asking for the definition would be a fruitless exercise, as he would have undoubtedly told us, look it up. There are numerous stories to be told, but regrettably, our time is finite. So in closing, it is with immense gratitude and a heartfelt appreciation that I thank God for blessing me with a father to guide, nurture, and influence my life. I would not be the person I am today had it not been for Randy. Memorials bring communities, families, and friends together to grieve the passing of a loved one. As I gaze upon those in attendance today, allow this occasion to be a time to memorialize, pay respect, and commemorate the life of Randy Lee Ross. Thank you, Randy, for being an amazing dad.
Good afternoon. My name is Salam. Brandy was my partner, my love, my soulmate, my best friend, and most of all, my teacher. He taught me what it means to show and give a genuine, unconditional love. Randy used to say, each of us is here for a purpose, to promote a mutual love and joy in the universe. Love is the thing. Randy was an extraordinary man who made a better place simply by being part of it. He was happy and joyful with himself and brought the same joy and happiness to others. The last 9 years, Randy was the best part of my day, my world, and my life, and I'm grateful for that. In his honor, I want to read Randy's favorite scripture, and that's 1 Corinthians. Love is patient. You heard his daughter say he was patient. All the description on this is Randy's description of who he was. Love is patient. Love is kind. Does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. Does not dishonor others. Is not self-seeking. is not easily angered, keeps no record of wrongs, does not delight in evil, rejoices with truth, always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always persevere. With that, I want to end with something Randy and I used to say to each other. I love you, I see you, I honor you, I respect you, I appreciate you. Rest in peace, my love, my chocolate man, until we meet again.
My name is Pat. I met these guys 6 years ago, and I asked through a mutual friend of Marion and I wanted to sing jazz, and she said, "Oh, Pat, I know a group." And I said, "Tell them I don't want any money, I just want to sing." And they let me. That was 6 years ago, and that's what, that's true. And that's where I met these guys, and that's where I met Randy. I used to live in Los Angeles, now I live in Vegas. And when Ricardo called me up, I said, I have to be here. These guys are like brothers to me. So I had to be here. And Randy wrote this little, it's not a little song, but he wrote this song that I think I'm the first one to sing. Am I the first one to sing? So I dubbed myself their jazz singer. So it's called Salamina, and now I know who he wrote this for. Peace, a little peace, moments of serenity, your loving smile, never-ending guile, transports me to blissful joy, dear. Words, a living poem, dancing to the beat of your love. Your fingertips never always give me bliss, transport me to blissful joy. Your smile covers me in sun-drenched clouds, glistening eyes, portals to the mystery of love. Ooh, a breeze, a gentle breeze, fanning embers of love's flame, holding me tight, two hearts search for light. How I love this little piece.
Your smile covers me in sun-drenched clouds, glistening eyes, portals to the mystery of love. Ooh, a peace, a gentle peace, fanning embers of love's flames, holding me tight. Two hearts search for light. How I love this little peace.
Wow. Awesome. You do that for free. That, I mean, I am so impressed. So here's the agenda for the rest of the early afternoon. I'm going to do some closing remarks, and then we're going to do a prayer for protection. We're going to say that together. And then we're going to sing the peace song, which is a song that is a closing number for Unity of Pasadena. You see, that's where you've been this whole time. You've been in the sanctuary, or just outside the sanctuary of Unity of Pasadena. And you know, Randy loved his church family here at Unity of Pasadena. He truly did. In fact, he wrote a psalm for Unity of Pasadena. A psalm is a song, you see. I mean, Randy loved the Psalms, and so he decided he'd write a psalm for Unity of Pasadena, and he performed it right here on this stage. And of course, it was original. He played it on the saxophone. He wrote words to it, but all the words were just thank you, thank you, thank you to various people that he wanted to thank. Those were the words of the psalm. But the music of the psalm was played on his saxophone in jazz style, you see. And you know, when I talked to you about him describing what jazz musicians do when they go out and separate themselves from that root note or two and start telling a story with their own instrument. He also says, and he says this in one of his videos on his YouTube channel, he says, you know, at some point in time, when you go out there, you got to come back to the group. The song is not complete unless you come back to the group. And so this is, in a sense, what Randy has done and allowed us to do with one another. The sadness of this moment is buoyed by the new friends we've made, the acquaintances we've made, and the family members and friends that haven't seen each other for so long. You see, he's been out telling this story, and it's not complete until we get to see exactly what it means in our lives as well. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of that. So this prayer for protection is pretty easy. All you have to do is read the words up on the screen, and I'd like you to do that with me, please. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. So I hope you know the peace song, but if you don't, it will be up on the screen as well. So this is what I want to do to get you up on your feet. I think what we ought to do to begin with is just put your hands together, and then as we fill the room with clapping, we're going to give Randy a standing ovation. So you just stand. So that'll get you up. Are you ready? Would you please join us in the peace song? and let it begin with me. Let there be peace, a peace that was meant to be with God as Creator. Are we? Let us in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy now. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let peace on earth and let it begin with me. Yeah, 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 yeah. So there's a beautiful reception at the Almanzor Court in Alhambra, and it's going to begin at 1 o'clock, right? Are there directions pick up for the ride over there? GPS, Almanzor Court, Alhambra. I'll see you there. Oh. Got it. On the front of the program. Very good. Excellent.